Good afternoon. Been a little while since me and John put out a video, so I thought we better get back on it and put out another video. I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I talked about in the very first video, is scent control and what we do to put the benefit in our favor to every degree we can. So also going to share some videos that we took on the trail yesterday, going back into that area where we found a brand new area we'd never been into before, where we had found a bull's lair. We went back into several different areas after finding that herd and identified some more key areas that looked pretty good, and it ruled out a couple that didn't look so grand, that were very close to where we seen that herd of 40 or 50. There was a lot of animals there. But anyway, so we're going to share some of that with you and describe a little bit about what we do with scent control. So obviously, before we begin get into the products that I use, I want to talk to you about the National Oceanic Administration, NOAA. And I think the anagram is NOAA. If you look that up on the internet and type in their weather app, you can look and see by your zip code that you hunt in, you can look and see what the weather is going to be doing for that day in your hunting area. I usually start my day with a cup of coffee before I ever head out that day, and I study what's going on with the prevailing winds on NOAA. I'm looking at that. And if it's going to tell me it's going to be coming in with a prevailing wind, which is normal to our area, I kind of have a pretty good idea of how to deal with that. But sometimes it's doing something completely opposite. So what I try to do is, the area that I'm going to be hunting, I usually try to have 5 or 6 different entry points so I can use that prevailing wind for the day in my favor. Then you got thermals. Thermals in the morning when it's cold, thermals are going to go, the air is going to fall downhill, down into ravines. And as it warms up during the day, it will start shifting and turning, and then as the air gets warmer, it starts moving back up the hill. And then in the evening, as it cools down, it reverses again and starts going down. Cold air falls, warm air rises. So you got to keep that in mind, that no matter what the prevailing winds are going to be doing, you always have thermals that are going to be changing the scenario on the fly as you go. So keep that in mind. So I'm always thinking about the terrain and how thermals are going to be affecting how my scent is blowing into an area that I'm heading into. I'll try to make my approach where I think they're going to be bedded, most likely, and approach from a downwind side or a down thermal side, obviously. But NOAA is something I use every day. Absolutely, it's a good accurate measurement. It'll always change a little bit, but at least with prevailing winds, you'll be able to have a tool in your tool belt to help you. Now, when it comes to products, scent control products, I use 4 scent control products, and I believe they do work. You'll have a lot of people say, if you're watching different hunting videos, they will say, you cannot fool their nose. You basically make it sound like don't even try to use the products, essentially. And I believe that is true to a degree. Yeah, if you've been working up a sweat, if you haven't taken proper care to scent down, and you're working up a ridge and you're working a sweat, yeah, you're not going to be able to fool their nose. But there has been situations, and I'll describe a couple different situations where it has worked for me. Typically what happens is, in the mornings, it's cold, and if you're moving slow and you're not working too hard, you can move very slow and keep your sweat down to a minimum. And usually I believe that this is going to work best for you probably within about the first 45 minutes of the morning if it's not hot. After that, after you've worked up a sweat and you've been hunting, then I do agree the products probably aren't going to work real great. Better than nothing. But they're probably not going to seal the deal for you if you've been sweating up a storm. So here's what I do. I shop at Bi-Mart a lot, Sportsman's Warehouse. They're local to me. good prices. So I buy a laundry detergent. I buy several different brands that they carry. This one happens to be Sport Wash Scent Destroying Laundry Detergent. I usually run my clothes with double the recommended amount. I want to make sure that my clothes are well scented down, and that's everything I wear. That is socks, long underwear, all my hunting clothes, including my backpack. Anything that's traveling with me goes through the wash. I do not send them through the dryer. I usually let them air dry. The reason for that is, your dryer has scents that in there when you're running, the little towelettes that you put in for de-static and de-cling and stuff like that. Any scent like that, I don't want them to be on my hunting clothes. So I typically let my hunting clothes dry. One thing you can do, I know a lot of people do this, and I used to do this quite a bit, is put your hunting clothes in once they're dry, put them in a black or like a plastic bag, and put in some fir boughs or some cedar boughs or pine boughs. I even heard of people putting in dirt, to get their clothes to smell like dirt. I've heard of that. I haven't done that much myself lately, but it does work. It will definitely scent your clothes. It'll help, I think. Something to think about. Anyway, so that's what I use for my washing detergent to wash my clothes. And everything goes through it. Secondly, when I shower in the morning, again, this is, you can get this anywhere. It's nothing special. Scent Killer by Wildlife Research. Go head to toe with this, double helping. Put it on pretty strong. And make sure I hit every region with that. And that will neutralize your human scent in the mornings. And for deodorant, you can buy this as well as several different brands at Bi-Mart, Sportsman's Warehouse. This is Scent Away antiperspirant. There's a lot of different products out there. The Dead Downwind products I've used their products. I think they are pretty much all just about the same, at least from my perspective. This item, made by Scent Shield, hair and body deodorant. And I've used this stuff for years. It kind of goes on kind of like a conditioner, almost like an aloe vera type feel to it. And I do really like this stuff. I do believe in this. I go real heavy with it, pits, all the regions that will, your hair, full body. I go over with this stuff. Now, you can't even buy this anymore. I heard that they went out of business. I don't know why. I have no idea. That's what I heard. When I heard they were going out of business, I bought a whole case of this stuff because I believe it has worked for me. And so, but Dead Downwind has products that you could probably get to replace this. It goes on, and in about 5 minutes it dries, and you never even know you have it on. But I do believe it works pretty darn well. So I'll tell you a quick story about what happened to me a few years back. I was hunting over on the Coast Range with my muzzle loader during general rifle season for elk. It was opening morning. It was the first 15 minutes of daylight. And I'm walking down a little finger ridge in a little basin where John Grimes took this bull that's here in the corner, a 6x7, took him in the same area. And it was just breaking light. I had actually walked into there in the dark. It was just breaking light, and I was sitting on a finger ridge. It was going down the hill, and I had my left shoulder against a fir tree, and it was right on a game trail. And I was overlooking a little basin that was about 40 yards wide, 50 yards long. And as the sun was coming up, I seen a little black-tailed buck walking towards me about 40 yards out, and I lost sight of him as he was down below me about 20 yards. It's elk season, so I can't hunt deer at this point. But at any rate, I lost sight of this little buck. I didn't know where he went. I thought maybe he bedded down. And then I heard a cow call, and I heard some twigs snap up on the ridge. Through the timber, I could see a cow coming down about 150 yards, and then another cow, and then another cow, and then another cow. And they fed down right below me where I first saw the buck. And that, like I said, they were like 40 yards away. Here comes a spike bull. And then a 5-point bull comes walking out, about the same size as this one that I got mounted in the corner. And they're standing there for minutes, probably 3 or 4 minutes. They're all feeding right in this little grassy area below me, about 40 yards away. Well, I knew there was a monster bull in there. And I thought for sure that, hey, the herd's here. Maybe I'll have a crack. It's opening morning. I've got 4 solid days to hunt elk. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to fill my tag. I really want to at least have a chance to hunt that bull, the big one that I know was there. But he didn't come down. And I thought, well, shoot. I had my 50 caliber, which are pretty heavy. They got a big heavy barrel on them, 50 caliber muzzle loader. And I had it out ready in case that bull showed up. And the cows and the bulls are 40 yards down in front of me feeding. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to take any of these. This rifle's getting heavy. So I was going to start slowly moving it down and laying the rifle down across my legs. The thermals were moving down the hill to my left, which I couldn't see because I had the tree to my left. Well, what had happened was that buck, I had no idea he was there. He had walked up that game trail and he was standing about 1.5 yards, like 4 feet from me on the other side of that tree. He never made a sound. The ground was wet. He never made a sound. I had no idea he was standing there. The wind was right in his face. The thermals were going right to him. He was less than 4 yards away. And when he seen that rifle barrel move, he busted. And when he busted, all the elk busted. So I thought, well, there you go. So I gave it about 20 minutes, and then I started working my way down towards the direction the elk went, thinking maybe the big bull is hanging by himself down on the lower benches in the lower basin. So I started working my way down to another little meadow right at the bottom of a steep hill. And I'm walking in through the reprod into this little grassy meadow that's about 15 yards wide and about 30 yards long. And I just broke through into the green grass. I'm like 18 yards in to the grass, and I heard a twig snap. And I turned around from the very trail I just came in on, and there's a cow elk standing there at 20 yards. I think that what had happened is the area had big, sword ferns that are like about belly button high. I think she was bedded behind one of those sword ferns, and I walked literally within feet of her. I never seen her. I had no idea she was there. I think she was bedded down right there. And when she heard me walking in the meadow, I think she got up to look around. And so, make a long story short, the wind, I don't know what side of the trail that she was on, but she never scented me. Not that I'm aware of. She seen me when she got up out of her bed. So scent control, I believe it works as long as you haven't worked hard and broken a sweat, maybe the first 40 minutes of the hunt. And then after that, I don't think that it's a huge thing in your favor. That is just my take on it. I could be wrong. If it's really, really cold and you're hunting during very cold weather, I think that can make a big difference. During the archery season, I still go through the religious practice of putting it on, but I do believe that it has limited effects after a certain period of time when you've been sweating. So what we're going to do is we're going to share some of those videos. We went back into the area that we had found that bull's lair, and we pushed in hard, and we found some really incredible sign. And didn't get it all on video, but what we did get on video we'll share with you. Pretty pumped about that area. We didn't want to push into them because right now they're calving. I think they've moved down the ridge to their calving grounds, which is a lot more favorable for them to have their calves for safety reasons. And so they're definitely not where they were about 3 weeks ago when we found this spot. So we're going to share those videos with you. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you guys on the trail with John and Paul's Life and Outdoors. Thanks for visiting us. So we're back in here in this new area we found. I just came off of a little bank into this little draw, and I noticed this rub. It looks like it's possibly 2 years old, but it's a pretty good rub. He broke the branches up there a ways. 2-year-old rub. I'm gonna go down into this swale that's behind me. I'm gonna move down this way. It's real green and lush. And I'm gonna poke around down here for possibly sheds and wallows. It looks like a good spot. So, signing out for now. Wait.
That's pretty good. Okay. All right, folks. When you do your time and you put in the hard work, it'll pay off. Just like it did here. We just found a major elk trail, a good bedding area, a place of sanctuary away from the people during the hunting season. You can see two trails that divide right off, going into thick timber in the bedding area, and some pretty nice bull sign. And there's a hell of a rub made on about a 12-inch diameter tree.
We'll walk down to that right now. But you can see these trails splitting off, going up into beds.
Yeah.
And you can see, first off, before we go to that big rub, we're gonna walk over here. Look at this area. It looks like a dry wallow almost.
Oh yeah. Right.
There's
here.
a bed right up there. See that bed?
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Oh, I see that bed right there. But
There's a bed up here. This looks like it could potentially be a dry wallow where it's just beat down to dirt. But I'm gonna walk you over here and show you this giant, big rub. So we're in that bull's lair where we took a video a couple weeks ago and posted it. The elk were here at the time. I did not want to risk spooking them. They're not here now, so now we can explore it. So where I'm standing right now, I got 1, 2, 3 significant rubs. And right behind me, I don't know if I got it. I'm gonna show it to you again. You can see this bank and these trails coming down. And we got a rub there. And up here, oh, here's off to the left, we got a really good trail. But up here, just in case I didn't get it, I'm going to show you, I think, what is a dry wallow. Possibly. Right on the other side of that log is a bed. But this is just beat up. Could be a dry wallow. Anyway, I'm going to turn around and show you this big rub. There's a couple of them in here that I'm seeing. So right here, we got a really good trail coming in. You can see it coming that direction. And right here is last year's rub. Pretty nice rub. And then this one here. This one I think it might be 2 years old, possibly, or it could possibly be last year, I'm not sure, but it looks like about 2 seasons ago. And then I seen another one right up this way. So we got one right here as well. And this looks like a potential bed. Maybe right there. But yeah, that bull hit that. We're gonna peek our head down this direction for a minute. Trail goes down. It's a good trail, splitting up 1, 2, 3 different ways here.
I'd go down this one. They're going to water.
Yeah.
They're better here than going to water. county cracks in here.
Oh yeah, it's
But there's about 20 beds up here.
it's beat to hell and dying.
Right here's their main bedding.
Look at that. Look at that trail
Yeah.
coming down right here.
Yeah, I think there's, yeah, well, that one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's filled up. I think it's going off, oh, that other bedding spot.
Yeah.
They're going up there.
Goes down.
Remember when I told you I saw that cow? Now you see why.
Right.
She
yeah.
was probably, like you say, she was just entering into bedding because she headed this way.
Yeah.
I bet you that whole herd was here when we were up there.
Oh yeah. We were just right up there.
100, not even 80 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they didn't smell us. Glad we didn't push them. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. There's something that's been on my mind, and I'd like to share it with you. It's dealing with the whiners Paul and I have been exposed to that are just purely lazy. And, you know, they ask us, you know, boy, I put in 1,000 hours here, 1,000 hours there. And I'm sure that everybody's heard that old saying is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Well, I don't mean to be harsh, but when you talk till you're blue in the face to someone to help them, other than to drag them up the mountain and shoot the animal for them and come hold them by the hand, you know, with this society, and saying that they go out and they do all these things, they buy all this gear, and they invest all this money, and they tell me they invest a lot of time. And I said, well, how much time have you spent on the off season in your spare time, putting in the work, studying the animals, you know, boots on the ground to a certain degree, but do your homework on onyx and to research, listen to people that have been successful getting animals. What can you do in a nice way to get their attention that, you know, they're not really listening or taking your advice and other folks' advice that are much more successful than we are, to get out there and hunt and be able to harvest animals? Because it's probably less than 10% of the hunters get 95% of the animals. It's for a reason. And the other 90%ers that maybe go one every 5 years of harvesting animals, it's a mindset, it's a mentality that you gotta, you know, and it's very challenging to break through that.